I was not a Trekkie growing up, which I actually think was an advantage in that situation because I
Yeah.
think I would have like been incapacitated by fear if I had been, like if I had showed up and like I mean it was already intimidating enough to be like on set on certain days with Sir Patrick Stewart, where it's just like this dude is a living legend.
You star in the hit CBS show So Help Me Todd. What made you want to be part of this series?
A great question. I when I first read the script, it was during pilot season and I had been reading so many scripts and you just kind of get like fatigued a little bit. And I read the script and there was just something about it. There was just like some little different flavor or texture or something where I was like, yeah, on the surface, it feels like a familiar TV show. It feels
Yeah.
like, like family drama plus a legal procedural. But there's something, and I think it's probably some like special sauce that Scott Prendergast, our writer and creator, has that just felt like I really recognized the family and the characters at the center of the story. And it I don't know, it spoke to me something about that like dysfunctional family dynamic where you still really really love each other and you're rooting for each other even when sometimes you want to like strangle each other.
Yeah.
Really resonated for whatever reason.
Absolutely. And for your role, you play Allison, who's Todd's sister, and also the daughter of Margaret. Um, what's the best thing about playing Allison?
um I really like sort of tapping into this person who's like very practical and very level-headed and kind of no bullshit, and I love that about her, and I hope that I can start to like emulate that more in my real life and be more like Allison in my real life. And it doesn't hurt that I get to pretend to be related to Marcia and Skylar. It's like that is definitely and Matthew Wilkes, who's recently joined the show as Lawrence, the third
Mhm.
right, is that is definitely, extra nice.
I bet it is. And, right now on Self Me Todd, Allison is going through her share of issues. She recently got arrested, and it looks like she's going through some marital issues. So, what can fans expect from her throughout the remaining episodes of season one?
Yeah, I don't, I, well, I, not, it's, I don't want to, and I also cannot give away
Of
certain things,
course.
but definitely, yeah, Allison is definitely starting to chafe against like the position that she's been put in by her mother and by her family and the expectations that everyone has of her. And yeah, she definitely goes a little haywire, which is really fun and has been very fun to start to get to play. And I think people are going to be excited about where Allison's going.
Absolutely. And you mentioned this. You get to work closely with Skylar and Marcia. So, what is it like working with them on a regular basis?
They're wonderful. They're lovely. It's there's a lot of like play. There's a lot of like improvisation and stuff that we find just sort of interpersonally among us as friends and colleagues, and then I hope and I think that that translates into the show. Um and yeah, they're just great people. I say this all the time. I really Marcia Gay Harden has like one of the best vocabularies of anyone that I've ever met. And
Mhm.
was just looking, I have this little piece of paper on my fridge that I started writing down words that she has said that I had to be like, what does that mean again? Because I'm like, I have to get on her level. I have to improve my vocabulary. So in many, many ways.
Oh wow, yeah, that's great to hear. And because of the success of the show, So Help Me Todd has been renewed for a second season. So, what was your reaction when you first learned the news?
I was so thrilled. It's so great to have the sort of security of knowing that like these stories that we're setting up and we're beginning to tell, we get the opportunity to keep on telling the story and getting even deeper because there are so many great TV shows out there that get only one season, and it's such a
Mhm.
drag to like get so invested, and you watched however many episodes and you're like, I can't wait to see what they do next, like I just watched 1899 and was like, what do you mean we're not going to find out what that means?
Yeah.
Like and so I'm really grateful that that we get to spend more time telling the story, and it's like there's a feeling of like, okay, good, now we can relax and we can be comfortable knowing that we don't have to tie season one up into a tidy little bow at the very end. It's like we can leave some things really uncertain and unclear and messy because we know that we have time in season two to clean up the mess and I'm sure start new messes.
That actually leads to my next question. The show has been well received by fans. So why do you think fans and critics too love So Help Me Todd?
Probably because the cast is so charming and good looking.
Mhm.
I
Of
think
course.
more likely. I think that I think it like scratches a very satisfying itch of like there's the case of the week, which is always fun to sort of play along and be like, wait, like I think I know who did it or I know what's going
Mhm.
on. And then and this is where I do actually sincerely flatter myself and my castmates. I think that people really are invested in the characters and in these, the family, but also the work family that the show has introduced, where like I think people really want to know what's going to happen to these people. And I'll say that that's the strength of my castmates, is that they have really embodied these people with such care and humor and intelligence that is what is bringing the audiences back week after week.
Of course. And along with your work on So Help Me Todd, you have appeared in multiple shows in 2022, with Star Trek Picard, Single Drunk Female, and Evil. But when it comes to Star Trek Picard, how was
Mhm.
it being on that show and being part of the Star Trek universe? And were you a fan of Star Trek growing up?
I was not a Trekkie growing up, which I actually think was an advantage in that situation because I
Yeah.
think I would have like been incapacitated by fear if I had been, like if I had showed up and like I mean it was already intimidating enough to be like on set on certain days with Sir Patrick Stewart, where it's just like this dude is a living legend.
Mhm.
My sister is a big Trekkie, and
Mm.
luckily like when I got cast, I was like getting caught up in watching season one of Picard, and I was texting her constantly being like, okay, what's a Romulan? What's a which is sort of pathetic and is like basic information. But she was super helpful in terms of ushering me into this world that is like, there's like I think I felt some pressure because that universe and particularly that character of Jean-Luc Picard is like so beloved by so many people and is so inspirational to so many people, and to play the character of Yvette Picard, his mom, it's sort of the pressure that I felt was like, okay, so this is the person who's completely shaped this beloved character. She has inspired him, and he that has gone on to inspire all these people. And like, how do I ensure that I, like do justice to that role? But
Mhm.
it was a lovely bunch of people. This is the thing. It's like the job feels very simple sometimes when it's just like you show up and people are wonderful and lovely and welcoming, and it's not a scary situation, despite the fact that you're on a huge lot entering into this like massive franchise.
Of course. And because of what you've done last year and what you've done on So Help Me Todd, I recently read that you were named On the Rise Performers You Need to Know by the trade publication Backstage Magazine. So, what was your reaction when you first learned about that news?
Oh, it's flattering. It's like sort of like, do we need to know? I don't know. It's no, it's flattering, of course. It's like, and it's validating to have worked very hard, and especially it was like coming out of, I feel so grateful for the last couple of years that I've
Mhm.
had, because it was like the pandemic happened, and
Yeah.
I felt like I had just been getting momentum as an actor. I had like just finally broken into TV and had started doing some little movies and little movies, like indie movies. I mean,
Yeah.
but I had like just started getting going, I felt
Mhm.
like, and then the pandemic happened and it like sucked all the air out of everybody's
Yeah.
sales. And I'm so grateful that then I was able to like come back and work on a real variety of shows and have different material and so it was really gratifying to show up on that list because it was like, oh, good. I've been working hard and it's nice to be noticed.
Oh, I bet it is. Yeah, it definitely has to be really great to see. And one last question for me before I let you go is, do you have any other projects that you're working on that you can talk about, or right now is it just 100% So Help Me Todd?
It's mostly So Help Me Todd, but I'm writing a screenplay right now with a
Hmm.
friend,
Okay.
which is a long, hard process.
Oh, I bet.
All the rumors are true, but we're working on it, and I am hopeful about that. It's about sibling rivalry and Craigslist.
Oh, wow.
Of course,
Yeah.
the most cool pairing of all time.
Oh, of
So
course.
yeah, so that's what I've got going on the side, and there's some other stuff, percolating as well. So hopefully we've got more news to come.
Well, great. I'll be waiting for that news. I'm looking forward to the rest of So Help Me Todd season 1 and the second season once that airs. So, Madeline, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Again, congratulations on season 2 of So Help Me Todd and continued success to you.